Billy, Patrick Kane has officially started practicing with the team, and you have to assume that there has been at least some sort of practicing with certain players, maybe to see where he could fit into the lineup, figure out some chemistry. It could be a lot of things. Now, interviews have already suggested that he's not actually going to suit up for a game until sometime next week, maybe the Buffalo game, maybe later. We'll see. That hasn't really come out yet, but that doesn't mean that we can't go ahead and do Coach Stallone's job for him and put together what we believe would be some great lines factoring in Patrick Kane. Now, first and foremost, our lines that we're going to throw together here are assuming everybody is healthy. Obviously, things would change the moment somebody is hurt, and we understand there are some injuries happening right now as we are recording this, but assuming everybody is healthy. But first, I do want to throw it to you guys while I ask Billy this question. Anybody watching this on YouTube, before we even read off our lines, go down there and just drop what your top two lines would look like, factoring in having Patrick Kane and the whole team is healthy. Throw those down there before you watch the rest of this, so you can't say that we influenced it at all. And that way you can look super smart by the end of the video. And we're also going to talk about some Discord responses that you guys gave us. But first, Billy, you said during last night's watch along stream that it hadn't quite hit you yet that Patrick Kane is a Detroit Red Wing. Has it gotten any closer now that all these practice photos of him wearing the jersey, doing the interview, like doing this with his Red Wings hat? I don't know why that gets me. When they put on the new hat, it feels like this is my hat now. I don't know. Has any of that kind of started to tickle that a little bit?
I mean, a little. I think I'm still riding the high of just thinking about him being on the team, but like seeing him practice, I won't lie, kind of feels like he's still wearing red. He wore red in Chicago. Like it honestly hasn't hit me quite yet. And I think it's going to be the first time that I truly see him wear a Red Wings jersey, stepping onto the ice. Should we let him lead? He should be the first one out on the ice for whatever game he's
You
with,
let
right?
him take the lap by himself. No, but I think the moment I know for sure 100% of Hockey Town is going to feel it, the first goal he scores, if it's a big one, and he does that little whatever
the heartbreaker.
Whatever that celly is in a big game or something like that. I think that'll be the moment where nobody in Detroit can be like, okay, everyone's gonna have to be like, okay, he's here now. It's for real. This is happening.
Yeah, I used our Twitter account and I put that out on one of the things. I said I can't wait for his first heartbreaker because he makes a heart with his hands and then
he does that. You're right. That's what it is. Okay, so by now you've put your predictions down below. I'm going to go first because admittedly, Billy is usually more of the line guy, and he factors in stuff that I don't want to say I don't think of, but I don't really care as much. I don't care about handedness that much. I only really care about handedness on a power play because I think that handedness doesn't matter as much at the power play. I think it does because of how much time you expect to spend in the offensive zone. But for me, I just don't factor in handedness and little factors like that quite as much. But first, my first line is actually Larkin between Raymond and Perron. And that is because I am buying into, for this year, I'm banking early that Kane's gonna work out. I'm not sure. I'm gonna bank on that early, and we can withdraw. It's not like these are locked in for the year, but I want a Larkin Raymond combo. And my second line, I am reuniting DeBrincat and Patrick Kane. But who's at center? It's got to be someone. It's got to be one of the more established ones. Like we got a couple more boys from Michigan.
Did I talk you into Raz at center?
Nah.
Did I talk you into Raz at center?
I wouldn't. You're not gonna like my healthy scratches if that's your guess. I am giving this guy a real shot at an injection of hockey IQ. Joe Veleno is centering my second line between DeBrincat and Patrick Kane. My third and fourth is not as important, but what do you think of my top two?
I don't like the Perron on the top line. I just straight up think he's too slow. I think you could catch me with a Fabry or even like a Sprong up there before Perron at this point.
I did
I'm just-
originally have Fabry, but I felt like I mean, I guess technically, okay, my original line did have Fabry up there. The only reason I moved him is because I felt like I was just riding too much of the last like week and a half, but also that would be for these lines would be for next week. So I could swap Fabry for Perron and feel like my lines, because that was what I originally had. I only took it out because I'm like, this might just be a hot stretch. I'd like to see more from him, but I wanted the veteran presence of Perron up there with Raymond, and I'm hoping that the Larkin Raymond duo can turn into something, and then Kane and DeBrincat can be something hot that also works really well with bringing up Veleno.
Yeah, I really like what you did with the second line, giving Veleno that opportunity. I'll talk a little more on my second line and why I'm not having the same vibes you are with doing it, but I understand why you did it. The only thing that I don't like is Perron there, but yeah, keeping Larkin and Raymond together, think very smart.
Swap
I think
Fabry for Perron. How are my lines?
I like it a lot.
So Larkin between Fabry and Raymond at line one.
Yep.
Veleno between DeBrincat and Kane. So that would be my third and fourth. Just really quick. I've actually got Comfer between Bergeron. I'm sticking with it. Dude had a really good first game. I'm going with Comfer between Bergeron and now Perron, and then I got Kopp, Costin, and Sprong on the third line. I got Fisher and Raz as my healthy scratches, but that would be for one game. They would cycle. Like, I'm not too worried about healthy scratches for this. What are your lines looking like?
So my top line, Larkin at center, Raymond on the right wing, and in a similar, sense that you had, giving this person an opportunity, because I've been happy with him so far this year, and I think he has the speed to keep up with him, is Veleno.
Okay.
I'm okay with putting him at the wing. I've been happier with his center stats, specifically like out of the draw, but the reason I will explain why I don't have him centering the second line is I love Comfer. Comfer is my number 2 center. I think he's very underrated. He does everything well. There isn't like a huge deficit to his game where I watch and I say, like, what could you possibly be doing? I never see him be too slow. I see the effort. I see hockey IQ. He can score some goals. He's good with getting his body in the way of the net. He's just a very good all-around player. So I'm going to keep him at number 2 center. He's even taken some of like the biggest faceoffs for us in games. I know Larkin was out last game, but even with him in, sometimes you see Comfer take the draws over Larkin based on scenario, side of the ice that they're on for the handiness on the draw. And then, very similar to you, I got Cat and Kane on those wings. I want to give Kane the shot on the second line. I ultimately think that it is kind of realistic that Kane could end up on a third line, and that would be okay. I'm very okay with that. I think a lot of people would hear that and be disappointed, but if you could potentially pair him with a Daniel Sprong, I think that's Sprong's dream. Third line, you're not facing typically the top 2 lines on defense.
That's how Patrick Kane repays Sprong for giving up his number so easily. He feeds him 40.
I'm just saying, I want to give Kane the shot on the second line. I want to put him with Cat. I want to see if he can reignite that. And I think Comfer's a wonderful center for that. I don't think that he's too offensively minded or too defensively minded. I think you're giving them just a super well-rounded player between them and allowing them to potentially reignite that magic. So then my third line is Fabry, Kopp, Perron. And my fourth line is Costin, Raz, Sprong. My healthy scratches are Fisher and Bergeron. I'd love Bergeron to still be up there. I'd love for someone else to be able to play a fourth line center. But right now, like, we have so many players that deserve to play in the NHL, which is such a drastic difference than we've had the last 7 years. For so long, we had been just taking borderline fourth line players and putting them on third lines, potentially even second lines here or there. So this is a wonderful problem to have. And like you said, with injuries, they're going to keep happening. Like, and even if it means that it allows you to take a player out that doesn't need to be out that night, right? Like if they're nursing an injury and you can think to yourself like, hey, Fisher,
or preventative.
Tonight, yeah, preventative. Like Fisher is going to give us a better opportunity tonight. He is going to be healthier, be able to play more than Costin tonight, just as an example. And you just plug that dude in. This is all great. You're not bringing in someone and being like, this guy's a question mark for us right now. I guess the biggest question mark for us right now is Bergeron. But everyone else on this roster, I feel like we know their strengths, we know their weaknesses. You know what you're going to get out of them on a 8 out of 10 night basis or so.
Almost makes you wonder if the Wings end up looking really good. I mean, just say you got a lot of names. Maybe you're a buyer at the deadline. I don't know. We'll get to that. That's for a later video. You never know. But before we go on to the lines that were submitted in Discord, what's your power play looking like? Now, this is the one where if you click the thumbnail and you're like, hey, neither of them said the lines that were in the thumbnail, this is where they are for me. I am putting Larkin, DeBrincat, and Patrick Kane out there. And Billy, you figure out where to put them. You figure out the other two. All I'm saying is power play one is Larkin, DeBrincat, and Kane. Don't at me. Who's the other two?
I think you got to stick with Perron. I think he's a power play specialist. I just want to see more like actual net front presence out of him. I'm not asking him to be Thomas Holmstrom. I know he's more versatile than that, but man, I really want you to be able to get in the vision lanes of some goalies here, because if you can do that, and also I should mention Ghost is the quarterback. I've been very impressed with him overall. I think you
hope he's okay, by the way. I haven't followed any news and anything.
Oh, I haven't heard anything. I didn't even look. I wonder if
I didn't see if he's like a scratch or anything tonight, but yeah, I hope he's good.
Yeah, hope so too. I think that he just kind of gets caught up sometimes trying to do too much, trying to make too big of a pass, but ultimately most of his passes are pretty pristine and exactly what you want out of him. Also, thank God he's not scared to shoot from up there. Like I'm getting tired of our quarterback literally being a quarterback and only passing and never scoring. Yep.
To be clear, we're recording this before the Chicago game. So when we're saying tonight, there's not a game tonight by the time you're watching this.
True. Well, you did say we played Friday and you did get called out.
No, that wasn't me. That was someone else. I was standing up for someone else. That was one of our subs that said that.
Okay. But I think we're going to be replacing Raymond, maybe not right away, maybe not day one, but I think ultimately you would want to move Kane in that spot because he would be left-handed. And there is a problem with having a right-handed shot on the right side. You see it. Raymond has to then completely shut his body off from being able to pass to the quarterback, and he's got to either pass to typically Larkin or shoot.
Yep.
We aren't getting the bodies in front.
This is where I care a little more about handedness. Yeah. The power play, when you're hopefully spending all your time in the offensive zone. Yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, also, Kane is another fantastic option for breaking in. Right now, it's one of our issues. When we faced the Rangers, we could not break into the zone on power plays. And I know it's because we were also missing Larkin, but guys, it's really
usually
tough.
The guy for that.
Yeah, it's really tough to look at a defense or like face a defensive strategy that's trying to lock you up at the blue line and always hand it off to the same guy.
Or have to dump it in every time. And then if you don't beat him to it, if they beat you in that race. I don't love the dump and chase in the power play, but it sounds like, I hope that's not their plan A, but if we're being forced into our plan B that often, hopefully Kane can be an option for entering the zone.
Yes, for entering the zone. I don't think he's going to be great at the dump and chase efforts.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't like the dump and chase.
Yeah, I don't want him to take those hits in those moments either. The hip, I don't want it to. I just don't want to put him in those situations like as often as we can.
Am I misspeaking? I'm adamantly against dumping and chasing. Period. I'm not saying.
I'm agreeing.
Okay. Every time I said I want him just to enter, he's like, I really don't want him to take that hit. It was like,
it's just like another reason. I'm just putting like other scoops of the ice cream on there for you. Okay. You showed up with one scoop and I gave you 3 more.
He can dump it.
Yeah.
And they have Larkin. Actually,
hold on. Derek?
Larkin flying up the other side.
Derek, you
write
listening?
That down. Let's jump to, we got a couple line suggestions. Now we would have had more, but the few people that responded in the Discord, don't look at it yet. Don't look at it yet.
Oh, okay.
Like, cause you're going to grade it.
Okay.
Cause we don't have many, so we can spend a little more time on each of these suggestions, but a couple of you guys in the Discord, by the way, if you're not in the Discord and you want to be in a video like this, down below in the description, there's a link to the Discord, but we got a couple people that submitted and 2 others, instead of writing their own lines, they're like, I like that guy's. I double that. I'm doubling down on that one.
So if I don't like that one, I don't like 3 people's opinions. Wow.
Yeah, and they're all gonna know it because they're probably gonna watch this. Okay, so I will start with the one that the other 2 did not agree with. We have one from Lord Venom, and they've top 2 lines is what we asked everybody in the Discord. So hopefully that's what you guys put down in the comments as well, and we'll respond to those. Top line is Larkin between Perron and Raymond. So my original,
Yeah.
or I guess what I ended up on, but I switched back to my Fabry one. Second line, Comfort between Kane and DeBrincat. So one of my first lines and your second line.
Oh man, I got to give a grade on this. I really like
Or
the
just an
second
opinion.
one. Yeah.
Just a reaction to it, whatever you want to do with it.
You know what? I want to do grades. I want to grade. I want to go through that process. I'm going to go with a B. The only thing keeping it from an A is literally that the one thing that I really don't like about your lines is Prawn on the top line. Him on 5-on-5 play, he's too slow. I hate seeing it. I like David Prawn. I think he does well for us on the power plays. I think in the right scenarios, he is a very effective hockey player. For the reasons that people are scared of Kane not being good enough for the first line anymore, I feel like I actively see that in Perron.
Yeah.
So yeah, the second line is absolutely perfect. I like keeping Raymond and Larkin together, but the Perron I think is going to drop it from like an A to a B for me.
All right. The other one that was submitted has technically been submitted, or it's submitted by one person, agreed upon by two others. So you got three in our Discord. So this was submitted by Carve and supported by Adriano and Drifting.
Okay.
Carve says top line is Larkin between Veleno and Raymond. So your top line, the one that you already had. And the second one is Comfort between DeBrincat and Kane.
I think that's
so
an A+.
your top lines.
I think that's
so
an
the
A+.
one that you put in there. Three other people in the Discord ahead of time have already given the thumbs up to.
Did not cheat. Can promise you that.
Now, did Billy look ahead of time?
No.
Yeah, there's no way to know for sure. But he says no, so you know.
I would never lie to the people.
Would you give that one like a C then?
I mean, A-. Didn't come from me. No.
All right. He's not going to be playing in the Chicago game. By the time you see this, you already know that. Hopefully, we see Kane sooner than later. More so just because of eagerness. Like I'm excited for it. Maybe they'll make the first one a home game. I don't know if they care about that kind of stuff. I'm excited to see it. Billy, I know you're excited to see it. And if you click this and you made it this far into the video, we know you're excited to see it. So make sure hit the sub button. Like the video, be there for some of our watch alongs. We're doing nonstop Red Wing stuff all the time in the Discord. Be a part of it. See you guys in the next one.